are beginning the session. Dr. Neha Sharma is an assistant professor of environment science, Lady Shri Ram College, University of Delhi, India. She has a 5-year experience in teaching this course to undergraduate students of University of Delhi. She has qualified GRC NET and two subjects, that's environmental science and life science. She has completed her PhD from University of Delhi in 2015. As a part of a doctoral thesis, she has conducted research on effects of climate change on plants. She has a master's degree in environmental biology and bachelor's in botany from University of Delhi. She has been recipient of various academic awards like Award of Excellence from Miranda House, LP Moll Medal from Indian Botanical Society, Summer Research Fellowship, Indian Academy of Science, and Postgraduate Fellowship, University of Delhi. And from my personal experience, I can tell you all that she's an excellent professor and she definitely made our life much more easier. And she's an excellent teacher in her field. So I'll hand over to you, ma'am, from now.
Okay, thank you, Anukriti, and thank you, Samyak Drishti Foundation, for making me part of this ongoing environment initiative. Through this wonderful platform, I hope that we would be able to connect with number of students who are inclined to protect environment. Okay, so I will now begin with my slides. We are living in the times of coronavirus pandemic, and therefore it is important to analyze what lessons we get from in the field of environment during this environmental pandemic. Okay, so as we all know, just 200 years back, our earth was filled with number of species. Calm sea water was pride of beaches. White snow peaked from high mountain. There were clouds and rain for us to entertain. Suddenly, this was not enough. Our happiness was not enough for us. We started demanding commodities, and thereby we got trapped in monetary fuss. Car, bag, toys, ACs and fridge. We destroyed nature from plains to rich. When countries were fighting World War I, nature was crying alone and tears were done. Hiroshima and Nagasaki failed to exist in a second. Hiroshima and Nagasaki failed to exist in a second. Since then, things are changing. No more we could see birds singing. Great Barrier Reef is constantly flickering. Amazon forest is intensely burning. We know situation is grave, we know situation is alarming. But then, in the race of economic growth, we never got time to revive nature, to increase its lost planet's creature, to think about restoring landscape feature. So one day, our Mother Earth, our dear Mother Earth, called out loud with a big thunder sound. Tolerated you humans enough. Now you see the time stuff. An invisible virus will make your life rough. You will be trapped in your houses. Till nature restores itself and life bounces. So here we are, trapped within our room. And outside nature is being cleaned with a magical broom. During this pandemic, magical broom of nature is sweeping all the dirt which we have accumulated over past hundreds of years. In the midst of economic and health tragedy posed by coronavirus pandemic, there is an unexpected bright side. That is the marked improvement in our environment as a result of massive slowdown. After countries shut down in response to coronavirus, stunning photos of nature have flooded Twitter and other social medias. The whole pandemic experiment and shutdown of human activity has resulted in blue sky. Flamingos have returned back to Mumbai coastal region and we could able to see dolphins in Indian Gangetic water. It is clear that coronavirus pandemic has affected air pollution in different countries. If we start with China, which is the main epicenter of coronavirus pandemic, there is a marked decrease in air pollution this year after lockdown. As revealed by NASA satellite imageries of 2020, pollution in the city of Wuhan and Beijing was much higher last year, that is in 2019, as compared to the year of 2020. So that is a good sign in terms of environment overall. If we consider India, same situation has been revealed by NASA for India. In India, generally we could see aerosol all across Indo-Gangetic plain. And this year, this particular year of 2020 has reduced the level of these aerosol particles to 20-year low. These aerosols particles are extremely dangerous for us and they could be trapped in our lungs and in our heart. With this low aerosol, we are actually breathing the most purified air. Impact of coronavirus pandemic has also been observed in different Indian cities. And it is interesting to note that as soon as Janata curfew was imposed on March 22, 2020, all the cities of India, that is Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Bangalore, Chennai, have shown considerable reduction in air pollution, and that too within one day. So that is a positive sign. We can control air pollution to a certain extent if we have that willpower. Now, if we compare the data of last year, that is 2019, with the present year 2020, all the cities have shown considerable reduction in air pollution. For Delhi, pollution level has been lower by 50%. Mumbai has shown decrease in air pollution by 27%. In Bangalore, pollution level has declined by 51%. Decline is 20%. Air pollution has gone down by 32%, and Chennai air pollution is now less by 35%. So we can say that in this entire pandemic episode, we are breathing the most pure air, and we should realize that how much toxic air we were being forced to inhale for so long. Now, carbon emissions. Carbon emissions are the main contributor to climate change, and they are the most problematic particles in the environment because there are so many treaties which have been signed, like Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, etc. But no such treaty could have been so effective. Now, if we consider this diagram, there has been slight decline in carbon emissions in many times. But the thing is that no war, no recession, no previous pandemic had such a great and dramatic impact on emissions of carbon dioxide as compared to 2020 pandemic. Over past 100 years, this dip in carbon dioxide has been observed after Spanish flu, after Great Depression, after World War I, after the end of major oil crisis, after the collapse of Soviet Union, and also after financial crash. But the coronavirus pandemic of 2020 has broken all the previous record of carbon drop. Multiple sources indicate that we are now living through an unrivaled drop in carbon output. And this is probably due to decline in our air and other travel related activities. If we consider the present situation, travel has gone down by subsequent level. Airline capacity has been hit by coronavirus, and we all know that this time all these aeroplanes are just standing still. And if we compare the data, last year the activity of airline has been much more in comparison to the present year. And according to International Energy Agency, average road transport in every country has been reduced to 50% of 2019 level by the end of March 2020. So within few months of travel restriction, demand for energy has globally fallen off the cliff. International Energy Agency also states that it will do 6% less energy this year. This historic shock to energy, which world is facing now, has positive implication on environment in terms of drop in CO2 gas and reduction in climate change. Dealing with solid waste has always been a challenge before the government. During lockdown, when roads are hassle-free, tourist movement is restricted, waste generated has been considerably less all across India. Lockdown in Mumbai has resulted in reduction of garbage generation by 40%. So if we compare last year, the garbage which was collected per day was 6,300. But now it is subsequently less in Mumbai. It is 3,800 ton. Similarly, waste generated in Hyderabad dropped by 36% after lockdown. Many cities like Pune, Dehradun have also reported a similar trend. Now, apart from reduction in pollution and weight, association of coronavirus pandemic and wildlife is also interesting to note. Coronavirus pandemic itself is the result of virus spillover from animals. Human impingement on natural habitat, biodiversity loss, and ecosystem degradation are making spillover event much more likely. Now, when we disrupt ecosystem, we have created conditions that allow animal virus to cross into human population. The number of emerging infectious disease outbreak have also been more, and they are just tripled every decade since 1980s. More than two-thirds of these diseases originate in animal, and 70% of those come from wild animals. Many infectious diseases like Ebola, HIV, avian flu are zoonotic. Aided by hyper-connected global population, COVID-19 has demonstrated how quickly this modern outbreak can become pandemic. Now, with human beings locked in homes because of COVID-19 lockdown, fauna has come out to spaces from where they have been moved out earlier. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram show us exciting scenes of wild animals walking down urban streets. However, while lockdown in many countries have allowed animals to roam freely, a cutoff to the crucial resources for conservation work, which has given poachers free rein to operate. Incident of wildlife poaching in India has been more than double during COVID-19 lockdown. An analysis by Traffic is basically wildlife trade monitoring network, and they have released their recent report of 2020. And according to this report, total 35 species have been hunted by poachers in India during this lockdown time period. Now, in terms of cases, so in our country, India, we have Wildlife Protection Act, in which animals are divided into Schedule 1, 2, 3, and 4 categories. Schedule 1 animals are those which get maximum protection, for example, tigers and elephant, one-horned rhino, etc. And it is surprising and even shocking to see that the number of poaching cases has been more for Schedule 1 category animals. So in terms of number of cases, in this lockdown period, total 37 cases of hunting were reported for Schedule 1 animals. 7 cases were reported for Schedule 2 animals. 28 cases were reported for Schedule 3 and 14 cases were reported for Schedule 4 category animals. But that doesn't mean that our government was sitting idle. In fact, to curb poaching, central government took proactive steps and classified forest and wildlife protection as essential activities during countrywide lockdown. As a result of this, overall 222 people were arrested in poaching related cases during lockdown, which is significantly higher than 85 suspects which were arrested during pre-lockdown period. Now, if we look at more closer picture of poaching, an interesting observation is that poaching of a particular category of animal has been significantly high during coronavirus pandemic. And this is the category of ungulates, which include deers, cattle, etc. So 22% was the count of ungulate hunting during pre-lockdown period, but now it has increased to 44%. Now the main reason why these animals are being basically for meat consumption. So we all know that people have been losing their livelihood ever since lockdown was imposed. So this hunting has given them chance to consume animals, and also they have been able to earn quick amount of money through poaching activity. Apart from this, second category of animals which were hunted down include small mammals. So small mammals were hunted during pre-lockdown period. This hunting was around 17%, but now this hunting has increased to 25%. Small mammals are especially important in international market. So now from this we can conclude that if we just go on with hunting of ungulates or with hunting of small mammals, it could create lot of danger to the ecological balance of our forest, and ultimately we will be affected in long run. Now this coronavirus pandemic has also given us glimpse of continued human-wildlife conflict. The story of pregnant elephant which died after eating pineapple filled with firecracker raised much outrage on social media. Now, while killing an innocent creature is itself a very gruesome task, but what was more shocking was the fact that the victim was soon to be mother mammal, and the manner in which food was used as bait. This deplorable incident raises some difficult questions for us, and especially for our collective responsibility, and one of them is of trust. Now, shouldn't it prick us to know that elephant and other wildlife venture into human settlement largely because of us, because we have depleted their forest resource, because we are making corporates, we are favoring companies, and also we are developing mighty states. In that sense, don't you think we have a share of betrayal of trust here, even if it is inadvertent one? Humans may be the only species which uses its intellect to find and devise innovative ways of inflicting pain on other species. Indian government imposed one of the world's strict lockdown. Subsequently, in a move to reopen business, resulted in number of industrial accidents. One such incident was reported in Visakhapatnam, which killed many people. Plant owned by South Korean industrial giant LG had mishandled a wall on a styrene tank that sent clouds of deadly vapor floating in air and left people choking on the streets. Such horrific images of people choking and lying motionless brought back painful memories of Bhopal gas tragedy in 1984, when pesticide plant released toxic gases and killed more than 5,000 people. Now the question is, how many times we again and again want to see situation same? How many times we again and again want to see the situation same? It's horrific, it's pathetic. Such sight is very terrific. People running, people dying, people choking, people crying. People running, people dying, people choking, people crying. Out in air, wherever we go, toxic pollutants are never very low. Cries of help are out very loud. We are also part of this crowd. Reality is it's happening again and again. But situation always remains the same. For monetary greed and economic gain, we tend to neglect ecological aim. Forests are cleared, companies are favored. Forests are cleared, companies are favored. Rules and regulations are never considered. Any time, any day, toxic fumes can come even in our way. Before it is too late to say, we need to find one hopeful ray. Now, while India was encountering coronavirus pandemic, super cyclone Amphan devastated its Bengal coast. Cyclone Amphan, which packed winds of 185 km per hour, has adversely affected West Bengal with 270 fatalities and leaving trail of destruction. Cyclone Amphan in Bengal and later cyclone Nisarg in Maharashtra bring forth a very costly lesson that climate concerns cannot be pushed under the rug while attempting to pump economy. There is growing evidence that global warming has made cyclones more frequent and more intense. So now environmental lesson. And the biggest environmental lesson of this pandemic episode is self-realization. A virus could succeed in what humans failed to do for long. We have realized how badly we have disrupted the environment. At a time when there is an overlap in space of human-animal interaction, it is useful to acknowledge our responsibility as a species with superior cognitive traits. And we should be more sensitive to wildlife. We need more strong laws to restrict wildlife trade and poaching. Coronavirus pandemic has also given us forewarning that altering the ecological balance could result in industrial and natural disaster. We need to be more prepared to be a wrath of nature if we continue with the current pace of ecological destruction. Now in this pandemic episode, we also realize that there is a need of active role of students and non-government organizations more than ever before. To ease economic activities, countries might reduce support for renewable energy sector and may not include Paris Agreement requirements in their recovery programs. Such easier regulations in non-green field economy could tip the world toward vicious circle of climate degradation, biodiversity loss, and future infectious disease outbreak. India has liberalized coal mining to shield economy from COVID-19. A greater emphasis on coal would move India further from its Paris climate change targets. Another challenge which this pandemic poses is the need for for basically sustainability. Now, when we all know that social distancing is the need of hour. Now, social distancing may drive customer away from public transport to personal vehicles. So, students and NGO therefore should act proactively as pressure group to stop this ecological injustice. At last, I would like to say, Dear Mother Nature, we hold our hands and pray to you. Dear Mother Nature, we hold our hands and pray to you. We know we have tortured you and inflicted pain on other species too. We know we have tortured you and inflicted pain on other species too. We know now our mistake, though we realized it very, very late. But we can promise and assure we will be in our limits for sure. For now, don't be angry on us. For now, Mother Nature, don't be angry on us. Punishing with virus is painful too much. Punishing with virus is painful too much. We are waiting for these hard times to go. We are waiting for these hard times to go when we could gently love you more. With this, thank you. Okay, thank you all of you. I hope this makes sense and you have got a glimpse of how coronavirus pandemic has affected various aspects of environment. And I would like to thank Samyak Drishti Foundation for giving me this chance to speak to a number of audience here, and also Anukriti for calling me for this event. Thank you so much to all of you.
Hello Neha, this is Drishti. Thanks from all of Samyak Drishti Foundation, our interns, our volunteers, everybody, for you to take out your precious time and share your knowledge with all of us remotely. So we are really glad that we could attend and be informed of the various impacts it has on the environment, as well as how we too can think about it and do something to help cure it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I guess coronavirus has taught us a lesson as to how we should control our behavior towards the environment and how actually it's beneficial. And also I wanted to add that just after unlocking, Also, there has been air pollution cases in China, which has increased, which we should have learned from the situation and actually modified our behavior. I think so. That's very important that we learn actually from this difficult situations and then move forward rather than just continuing the same way as we were before.
True. And I think NGOs and students really need to act now because it is high time. We all know that as soon as this lockdown will be open up, countries will face major challenges. We will be just relaxing rules and regulations. We will be favoring more of corporates. And this has already been shown that for ease of doing business, we are just giving environmental clearances to every multinational corporate. So in that sense, we need to understand our role. We should act as a pressure group. We should inform our government that this is not okay. We cannot breathe toxic air anymore. And this is a best lesson that we have learned from coronavirus pandemic.
So with that, all of us at Samit Krishi Foundation thank all the audience members to come on a Sunday evening and be a part of the change by firstly being informed yourselves of what the right thing is to do and how we too can make a difference in the world. Along with that, I would like to also reiterate that there are a number of initiatives that Samit Krishi Foundation does for the environment, which have gone on a global scale as well. Many of the links are there on our YouTube channels of how we are impacting towards saving trees, towards planting trees, and moreover taking care of them once we plant them. Also, if you would like to join our movement, you can connect with us through the various social media platforms. We are there on all of the social media platforms. And in case you cannot contribute by being physically present with us, you can always make a donation to us. We also have the 80G income tax rebate, which all the donors get. That is a way of us saying thank you to you, so that the donations that you make are income tax free under the 80G section. So I encourage all of you to do your part, your bit in any way you can to help conserve the environment. Thank you all for being here today.